All right, we are live and it's day 20 and it's Sunday, but it's a special Sunday. It's a Mother's Day today. And to all the mothers out there, my mom, my wife, to all the ones that are out there, to all the women, I respect in terms of how you are able to multitask and manage your sanities and take every setback that you've had actually and turn it into a triumph, into turning us into who we are today with all the challenges that we may have faced as we're growing up. But to all of you, this is why we wake up every day. This is our ikigai, and you have found your ikigai as a mother. And so, congratulations. Thank you. So, today is day 20. And it seems like my voice is going hoarse, but I'm actually feeling better. So that's great. So if I'm coughing and stuff like that, I think it's just part of this recovery. And so one more day. And we end this challenge on a high note because we will have turned and understood what is causing us the drawbacks, the prison sentences, the limiting beliefs. And so today we bring it all together. Yesterday, we worked on our vision board, right? And this is the first step in moving our life from setback to triumph. How did you find that exercise? I'd love to be able to find out from you guys. Share your vision boards. It would be great to see them. And now that we have created a vision board, what do we need to do next, right? We need to bring that into our reality. We need to manifest that. We need to bring that vision into its reality so that we're moving from that setback to that triumph. We have created this new vision. We want to be able to take those limiting beliefs, those prison sentences, and turn them around into what we want to talk about. So today we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about the law of attraction, and we're going to talk about the law of manifestation. And so before we do that, let me start with what I normally start with, right? Is the definition. So what's the law? What does it mean to you when we're talking about law? And if you're in the US, there's this huge debate that's going on about abortion and stuff like that. And that's where law comes in, right? We think that a law is a rule or principle that always works the same way under the same conditions. But it's really, again, going back to that sentence, that vocabulary that we use, that belief that we have, right? So the Roe versus Wade is all based on belief. It's not based on law, right? Whether we bring our religious beliefs into it, whether we personal beliefs into it, whatever it is. So we're saying that it's law, but it's actually a belief. And that's a really big fundamental principle that we need to look at. So the law is something that works for you, whether you believe it or not, right? Like the law of gravity, which does not rely on your belief to function. So unlike the laws that we believe in otherwise, there is a belief that goes within it. This one, a law of attraction, it does not have any beliefs associated with it. So when you talk about gravity, right, every time you throw something up, unless you're in space, it's going to come down. It's a law of physics. The law of attraction does not require you to believe in it to work. And unfortunately, when we actually do not believe, when we do not believe that it doesn't work, it still does. You don't have to question it, right? Spring comes and most trees will blossom. You can't say, well, I don't believe in that, because it's going to happen whether you believe in it or not. So feel free to remain skeptical if you need to. But as you start to apply the laws of attraction in your personal life, you can simply observe what happens. A tree does not question that it has to blossom, because that's a law of nature. And so when it's in allowance, it just happens. There's no struggle. So I'm going to suggest that there's three laws of attraction. The first is like attracts like. The next one is nature abhors a vacuum. And the final one is the present is always perfect. Now we're going to go through in detail with all of this, but from these laws, there's a number of principles and explorations of the original law, right? Like attracts like. There are a number of things that we can look into when we're coaching and we're practicing to see how that would work. I want to recall our conversation of how thoughts and words impact our feelings, which then impacts our actions, and that results in outcomes. Well, this is where the law of attraction links, or where the rubber meets the road of the concepts that we've talked about earlier. Everything that we've talked about earlier all comes together now. So it's really important that we understand how this is coming together for us now, because we want to make sure that we understand it, and we want to make sure we practice it daily in our lives so that it is active for us. Now, I know this may sound a little magical, but you'll soon see how it works. The law of attractions are actually based on physics more than they are in anything else. Now, I'm not sure if I'm sharing my screen, but I do want to make sure I do that. So let me just check over here, share screen, and I'm not sharing it. So let's start sharing it. All right. So, so let's get into the 3 laws of attraction. So the first law is like attracts like. Our thoughts will attract our results. Now, most people say opposites attract, right? That's what we've been told, right? North attracts south. Magnetism, that's how it works. Now, that can be true for magnets, and some things may attract opposite polarity, but it's more often that like attracts like, right? Birds of a feather flock together. We're more likely to have tall friends if we're tall. We will tend to marry people with similar socio-economic backgrounds and similar levels of vocabulary. However, what it means that our thoughts attract our results. This is simple because what we think about and believe, we tend to do. Our actions then produce the results we have in life. We talked about that earlier. So therefore, going back to what we were thinking about with our negative beliefs and our limiting beliefs and our prison sentences, limiting and negative beliefs leads to limited action, or even actually counterproductive action. And thus it will produce negative results. If you have a negative thought like money is the root of evil, it is not likely that you'll take action that will lead to financial success. And it's only because you have such negative associations with money. After all, why would you want something that's evil? Even if you happen to effortlessly attract money, you'll probably have it go away. So the first step to attracting wealth is to eliminate those negative beliefs that you have. The first step to attracting what you want to is to eliminate those negative beliefs that you have. The next step that we've talked about is to replace it with positive affirmations, with positive beliefs. If you want to be more attractive to something that you want, then you make sure that you have a positive image about it. And that's why the vision board is really, really important. If you don't need it, you're more likely to attract it less. Need less in any form. Remember, it's all energy. Like attracts like, because a lack of something attracts more a lack of something else. So just like negative thoughts attract more negative thoughts in a vicious cycle, which is hard to break, that is why debt attracts more debt. Savings attracts more money. And it is always easier to get a new job when you're currently employed because you're in a positive framework. It all ties into thoughts, words, actions. Positive thoughts creates positive words, creates positive actions, creates positive results. The next thing that we want to talk about is nature abhors a vacuum. By creating space in our lives, we easily attract new things. This is the law that's based on thermodynamics, right? It is possible to create a completely empty space because atoms are always bouncing around. Remember, we're energy. They'll fill any empty space. Practically, we experience how this works when you empty your junk drawer and find it full of stuff a few weeks later. Just by tidying space, by tidying your workspace, by tidying stuff around, you find you attract new things, you get new stuff. When you hoard onto old stuff and you keep on having it, there is no room. Think of your wrist. If you have it closed like this, holding on to stuff that you have, how are you going to get new stuff? You need to let go. You need to open up to get more space. And then the third law, which is the present is always perfect. That's why it's called the present. It's a gift. Now, I understand there are things that are going on in the world. There's wars going on. There's children starving. There's a lot of negativity out there. but don't let that absorb you. It is often hard to see how bad things can be perfect or even good. I have this wonderful habit that sometimes really bothers my wife and my kids. Even when they say something that may not be good or perfect, I would say, how wonderful. And they come back and say, what's so wonderful about it? But when you take a minute to actually go back and say, you know what, you don't know what is available in the future, what could have been in the past. Your life may be really miserable right now, but there's one person in the world somewhere that is willing to switch with you in an instant. You look at somebody else's life and you go, I would be able to change spaces with them in an instant, but you don't know what they're going through. It is very hard to tell in the moment why one of the things is the case. The trick to activating the third law of attraction is to make your current reality as perfect as possible. I want to share a story with you because I share stories every time, and it would be a shame not to share a story on the last day. So a farmer and his family in ancient China owned a horse. His neighbors said how lucky he was to have such a fine horse to pull his plow through the fields. When the farmer was complimented on his horse, he would always say, maybe yes, maybe no. One day, the horse broke through the gate and ran away. His neighbors came around to lament his terrible loss, saying it was a terrible thing of loss and bad luck. And to that, the farmer responded, maybe yes, maybe no. Days later, the horse returned to the farm along with 7 wild horses. His neighbors came around to explain his remarkable good fortune and saying, wow, you are now rich. The farmer said, maybe yes, maybe no. A few weeks later, the farmer's son was training the new wild horses. He fell off and broke his leg. The neighbors came around once again and to extend their condolences on the misfortune that the son, what bad luck? And the farmer replied, maybe yes, maybe no. The next week, the army came around, taking all able-bodied young men from the village to fight in the war. The farmer's son with the broken leg was left behind. The neighbors now lamented the loss of their sons, uncommented on the farmer on how lucky he was to have his son still at home. And the story goes on. In times of disaster, we're often so focused on the current pain and loss that we're having. And it is hard to see how such a thing could actually be good. It rarely appears good in the moment. Alternatively, good things may not be as good as they seem. We know that lottery winners often are unhappy a year after their good fortune. Taoists believe that things are neither good or bad, but just what they are. And that is why the Chinese farm owner always said, maybe yes, maybe not. Even when they came to say how lucky he was that his son had not gone to the war, he said, maybe yes, maybe not. This is the truth. Why not simply declare that everything is good in what you seek and find the good in the bad? The present is perfect. I shared my story with you the first day about the fire and how things changed for me. That was an incident that could have been seen just as bad. But when I reflected back, I looked at it, what is the good that can come out of it? And today I would not be in front of you if I had not seen it that way. The present is always perfect. We just have to find it in it. Right? Now, we want to move really quickly with the next 4 or 5 minutes that we have and say, what is the law of attraction and how is it different from manifestation? While the law of attraction is always at work around us, the law of manifestation is the opposite. This actually occurs when you actually harness the power you have to transform your life and manifest into being. And so this takes care of any comments, any DMs, any resistance that I'm going to have, that if the law of attraction is working, why do I need to do anything? Why can't I just sit back and let it happen? Well, that is why you can't. The law of attraction is always in place. It is the law of manifestation that needs to be in place for you, and you have to harness the power that has been God given to you. The word manifest actually comes from the Latin word matter, which means to make or to do. It is something you have to go out and find on your own. You are manifesting your dreams and bringing them to life. It is up to you to manifest going from setback to triumph. We often experience setback because remember, we went through this thing, expectations. You cannot expect the law of attraction to work for you if you're not going to do anything about it. The law of manifestation helps you harness the law of attraction. The law of manifestation helps you harness the law of attraction and bringing those dreams and reality closer to you. The two work hand in hand. By bringing the law of manifestation into the mix, you're simply working in getting that law of attraction to work for you. So here are 5 reasons why your law of manifestation or what your manifestation is not working. 1, you don't feel truly aligned. Make sure you truly believe in what you're doing and you're asking for. Sometimes we hold on to things too tight. I want it, I need it now. Energy is one that flows. When energy is stuck, it doesn't work. And that's why we created the vision board. You need to be specific. That exercise goes you through that specificity. Remember your SMART goals: specific, measurable, realistic. It is something that can be attained. It's time sensitive. Now, you may want something right away. Yes, we all want everything right away because we have been brought up in this era of Nescafe solutions. Instant coffee, I want it now. But the time may not be right for it right now. And if it's not there yet, can you imagine something better coming for you? So here's a small 5-step technique that I invite you to go through. Focus, boost, release, gratitude, and then go. I know today's the second last day, and I wanted to cover this really quickly because tomorrow I want to leave time to be able to show you how everything comes together and leave some time for questions. And also, I am offering anybody that wants to work with me in terms of going into the specificities of everything that we've talked about and how to measure this. I'm offering 50% off for anybody that actually puts down the word manifest in a DM to me, and I will give you 50% off what my regular rates are in coaching you over a 3-month program. So reach out to me, and tomorrow we'll go into more of those details. But let me share with you this 5-step. Be ultra specific. This triggers the reticular system in your brain. And so when you're ultra specific, you know exactly what you want. Then the universe provides it for you. When you say, I want money, and you get $1, you're not satisfied. Well, that's your one specific of how much you wanted. There's a lady that went to Dane here once and said, hey, you know what? This thing about manifestation and all of this is not working for me. She goes, what do you mean? She goes, well, I keep on getting bills. And what have you been asking the universe? And she goes, well, I'm asking the universe to pay my bills. She goes, well, are you paying your bills? She goes, absolutely. I never falter on my bills. She goes, well, what's the problem then? Be specific of what you want. Get uber excited about your goal. If you're not excited about your goal, how do you expect the universe to give you what you want? When you are uber excited, this actually activates a part of your brain which tells your brain what's important and keeps you motivated. Delete mental and emotional blockages. This includes your limiting beliefs, your prison sentence. We've talked about a number of different ways of how you can question those, change those, turn those around. And when you destroy those negative beliefs and mental blockages and emotional blockages, this reduces the amount of stress and cortisol. And we talked about what stress does to your body and how it takes you back into setback after setback. Do you see how everything that we talked about the last 20 days is all coming together today? And I haven't talked about much of this, but gratitude is the best attitude. Feel thankful for your blessings, no matter how tiny they may be. Like attracts like. If you are grateful of the present, then you get more presents. It restores your happiness. It restores your well-being. If there's one thing that you're going to do, this is the one that's the most important. Be in gratitude no matter where you are. And then take the next small step. Taking action reinforces your natural and neural pathways. It allows that positive feedback, allows you to manifest quicker. I'm going to leave you with an acronym that I love using. And it may be difficult to remember those 5 steps, but here's what you need to do. Remember this acronym. Victor, Victor, Edward, Apple, VVEA. Vocalize, visualize, emotionalize, actualize. I hope you found this beneficial today. Put manifest down. Remember the offer that I've given. We'll go through the offer in detail tomorrow. If you have any questions, bring those offers up tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you all on the final day. Thank you to all the mothers out there. A happy Mother's Day again.